experiences. Sounds come and go. Thoughts and emotions too. They're all conditioned. They're all impermanent. And they're all impersonal. Arising and passing, moment after moment. These are the experiences of our lives. And we practice so that we might be present to them. Resting into ourselves. Resting in to this moment. In this moment. In this moment. Resting and receiving. Opening to the flow of changing, ever-changing experience. Cultivating both relaxation and interest. So that we are supple, responsive, and attuned. Direct, present moment, experience. Oh, it's like this. Noticing the experience, whether it's internal or external. And noticing our relationship to the experience. Experiences are simply experiences. arising and passing due to conditions. Our response, our relationship to this present moment's experience. That's what informs the quality of the next moment. This too can be an object of awareness as we cultivate our ability to notice what we notice. We may notice that we're chasing after, that greed is present. Or that we're pushing away. Aversion is present. When these experiences of craving are met with awareness, they do not lead to suffering. Try it out for yourself, resting, receiving, and noticing your relationship moment by moment. It's like this. When you find yourself so relaxed that you're spacing out, inclining toward a little bit more interest or curiosity. And when you find yourself so interested, so curious that you're contracted or chasing after, where there's kind of a thought stream, a papancha, a proliferation of the mind, balancing with more relaxation. A few more bells. And in 20 minutes or so, I'll invite 2 bells to close this sitting practice. Continuing the cultivation of awareness and presence. Perhaps the posture that you're in is working for you. Great. Enjoy continuing to rest there. I'm going to say a few more words. I'm going to invite a few more bells. And after you cannot hear the bells anymore, if you'd like to switch to walking meditation or reclining meditation or a different seated posture, that would be the time to do so. As Thich Nhat Hanh says, even from the grave, listen, listen. The sound of this bell brings us back to our true home. And Sayadaw U Teshaniya, awareness is your true home. Awareness is your true home. Go back home where you belong. Enjoying another 20 minutes of resting quietly together, cultivating awareness and presence, coming home to ourselves. feeling the power of our collective energy, our intention to be in presence together. Cultivating receptive awareness. Developing our capacity to be present for ourselves, one another, and the world. and experience through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or mind is just an experience. It's our relationship to that experience which conditions the quality of our lives. Waking up, we smile. 24 brand new hours are before us. We vow to live fully in each moment and to look at all beings with eyes of compassion. We are of the nature to age. We have not gone beyond aging. We are of the nature to have ill health. We have not gone beyond sickness. We are of the nature to die. We have not gone beyond death. Everyone we love and all we hold dear is of the nature to change. We cannot escape being separated from them. Our actions are our only true belongings. We cannot escape the consequences of our actions. If we act for good or for ill, of those results, we will be the heir. All experience is led by heart-mind. You are my love, baby. Born of heart-mind, made of heart-mind. All experiences preceded by heart-mind. Mind is the forerunner of all experience. Act or speak from a defiled state of heart-mind, and suffering follows as the cartwheel follows the hoof of the ox, or the bicycle follows the stroke of the pedal. All experience is led by heart-mind, born of heart-mind, made of heart-mind. All experience is preceded by heart-mind. Mind is the forerunner of all experience. Act or speak with a pure state of heart-mind, and happiness follows as your shadow follows you without departing. Noticing the residue, continuing in the cultivation of awareness and presence. Maybe keeping the eyes closed just a little longer as you bring attention into the body and notice how the body might want to move or be moved. Attuning, continuing our attuning to ourselves moment by moment. Nothing need be outside of the field of awareness. How's the body want to move? Be moved, stretched, small, large. Listening in, discerning. Moving, responding from that wisdom. And when you're ready, allowing the eyes to open consciously, intentionally, and noticing what you notice, what's seen and your relationship to that, cultivating our capacity to be present to all of the experiences of our life. If the body wants to use the bathroom or get some water, now is a great time. And can we be aware? Noticing what you notice. No right thing or wrong thing to be aware of. Awesome. Great. Glad to have you all here on Zoom and here in the space at the Dharma Collective. Enjoy the bells. Rest, open, receive. The bells are the voice of the Buddha. The bells are the voice of the Buddha calling us home to ourselves. Let them be a gift. Sounds of sirens and horns, they can all be the voice of the Buddha calling us home to ourselves. So without further ado, let's go ahead into the recitation. So Julie's got some stuff to share on the screen. So I thought we would do this call and response. And if we find that it's all super familiar and you just want to go along rather than call and response, that is quite welcomed as well. So the first bit, oh, that's so funny. I took so much care in choosing my fonts so that everything could be clean, but there's something funny on that slide. So the first bit is Pali, the language in which the teachings of the Buddha were originally written down, and then the second language is English. It's, as much as I understand it, a pretty close translation of the Pali. And as we prepare to recite the 8 lifetime precepts, it's nice to ground ourselves as we did in meditation practice, and then in the offering homage to the Blessed One. So if you're not feeling it, don't do it. You do you, 100% choice. I'll lead us, join me or repeat after me, whatever feels good. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato Arhato Samma Sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Next slide, please. Just a reminder, for some of you this is quite familiar, for some of you it might be new. So this transliteration of the Pali into the Roman alphabet, there's some mapping that isn't quite intuitive. So the M with a dot under it is a ng sound, like song. I guess like song, I don't know what does that song sound right? It's In Korean, it's a circle, but this is what we do with the Roman alphabet, is M with the dot under it. And then a single C is mostly a ch sound, like church, ch. And an A without any accent is mostly an like the beginning of my name, Augusta, And then an A with a line over it is an ah. So let's see how it goes. All right, next slide, please. And then this time I'd like you to repeat after me so that it's more supportive. And those of us for whom it's very familiar, we can just be loud in our voice so the people for whom it's unfamiliar can join you. Yeah, all right, so I'll lead and then everyone else can follow. And again, you do you. If you're not feeling it, skip it. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami. Tatyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Next slide, please. So these then are the 8 lifetime precepts. And I think we can just say them together. I undertake the training to refrain from taking the life of any living being. And then just letting that resonate in your system. Like, is that true? Is it an aspiration you've had in the past that you have now going to the future? Or is it like, yeah, no, thanks. You know, your own way of holding those words. What's your truth? And then the second lifetime precept. I undertake the training to refrain from taking that which is not offered. Let's go a little slower with the third lifetime precept. I undertake the training to refrain from misuse of sexual energy. Knowing the harm that's caused by the misuse of sexual energy. And the fourth, nice and slow, I undertake the training to refrain from false speech. Recalling the harm that you've caused or is caused to you or you've seen caused through false speech. I undertake the training to refrain from malicious speech. Speech that has malice in it, is mean, ill intent. And then the next one, nice and slow. I undertake the training to refrain from harsh speech. Maybe you can remember sometime recently or not that long ago or further along ago when you spoke harshly to someone or someone spoke harshly to you. And you felt the sting of that or you witnessed it. It happens, we're human. And we can practice. The seventh lifetime precept, I undertake the training to refrain from idle chatter. Idle chatter, those words that just fill the space. Not an informal greeting, how are you, what's going on, isn't the weather nice? Because there's a wholesomeness in that creates community and connection. It's the nonsense, the filling of the space, of saying things we don't know to be true. And the eighth lifetime precept, I undertake the training to refrain from wrong livelihood and consuming substances which cloud the mind and lead to heedlessness. You know, you've all experienced some of that at some point. You know the effects. Just feeling it, allowing awareness and presence to be here as well. Not something we left behind when we started listening and speaking. Next slide, please. So we'll get to practice it in Pali and we'll do it call and response. And again, a reminder of the pronunciation in case that's helpful for you. We might have forgotten it. In the moments that passed, the M being an ng sound, the C being a ch, A being and the A with a line over it being ah. Next. And you can repeat after me. I will stop in the middle. Panatipata. Where am I? Sikapadang Samadhiyami. That's the first lifetime precept. Adina, Dana, Veramani, Sikapadang Samadhiyami. The second lifetime precept. Kamesu, Michachara, Veramani, Sikapadang Samadhiyami. The third lifetime precept. Musawada, Veramani, Sikapadang Samadhiyami. The fourth lifetime precept. Pisunaya, Vachaya, Veramani, Sikapadang Samadhiyami. The fifth lifetime precept. Parusaya, Vachaya, Veramani, Sikapadang Samadhiyami. That was the sixth lifetime precept. And the seventh, Sampa Palapa, Veramani, Sikapadang Samadhiyami. The seventh lifetime precept. Feeling it in the body, noticing what's here as we bring voice together to these intentions. And the eighth precept. Micha Ajiva Chasara Maria Majapamadatana Chaweramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Thanks for playing along. And then the next slide, we get to look at them again in English just to remember and reflect. We don't need to say them aloud again, but you can see them. That's what we just said. Maybe you'd be nourished by reading through them again. Thanks, Julie. And then the next slide. Oh, I forgot one thing. So you just have to repeat after me because I didn't make the slide. Idame silang Magapala Nyanasa Pachayo Hotu, which is simply by practicing in this way, may the path bear fruit. Okay, next slide. So, Jorge, would you read that for me? I don't need to read it.
Precepts were developed by Bhante Gunaratana to support lay friends. They are an expression of, and I can't read that.
Yeah, me neither. Ajivatthamaka
Ajivatthamaka
Sila.
Sila. The 8 precepts with the right livelihood as the 8th.
Thank you.
Oh.
Next. And so this is Bhante Gunaratana. He was one of my early teachers. He's from Sri Lanka, and he emigrated to the United States and landed outside of Washington, D.C., where he still resides. I practiced with him back in 2013. And I think there might be one more slide, just to give homage to the Bhavana Society. Sweet. Thank you so much. So as is the custom at Spiritual Friends Sangha, we engage with the recollection and reflection recitation of precepts or mindfulness trainings the first Monday of each month. It's a reminder for our aspiration to cultivate these wholesome behaviors and wholesome mind states, knowing that it's all conditioned. It's all conditioned. And as we have that intention, we find that our actions are more skillful and that that's what comes back to us every time. Every time. And I know you've seen it in your own life, even before you came into Buddhist practice. When you were rude, you got rude back. It's just how it goes. Sometimes it's a faster return, sometimes it's a little slower, but it's all got a boomerang. It's all got a boomerang on it. Last month, we recited the 5 mindfulness trainings from Plum Village. Next month, we'll do something different. And I wanted to offer these 8 precepts in part because of a conversation Jorge and I had a few months ago about practicing with 8 precepts while you were incarcerated. And also as a reflection and a support for what's happening around us and inside of us, and how it's also impacted by the behavior of people, and our contribution can be taking care of our own behavior. So I'd love for the mic to go around and for everyone to have the opportunity. We'll start with Jorge and we'll go clockwise this time to share in about how the precepts land for you, how this experience of all the Pali landed, any ways you've practiced with precepts in the past, or anything that's evoked from it. Yeah, plenty of space, plenty of time. Fabulous.
Okay.
And I think that my choice in offering the Pali has a few layers to it. One is that it gets back to the root in a clearer way. The translation is just a translation, right? And so it gets back to the root. And because it's back to the root, it's the same thing that's recited all over the world by people who are reciting the Theravada precepts or reciting the Pali. So it's universal. When I studied martial arts, we recited things in Korean. We talked about the techniques in Korean, and then it was global. It wasn't just English because we happen to be in the United States, right? So those are some of the layers for me and why I chose to offer them. And when you're at a Bayagiri, and some of us, there's room for other people if they want to come as well. We'll be going to a Bayagiri at the beginning of next month. And when we're there, we'll be hearing them, reciting them in Pali. And so for me, in reciting them in Pali, it brings me back to being at a Bayagiri, to being at Bhavana Society, to being on retreat. It's at IMS or Spirit Rock. It's has that root in it that's has a certain flavor. And yeah, when they're unfamiliar, right? But they only become familiar through exposure. Great. I think that I mentioned this recently, maybe even last week. It just came to my mind as I was listening to you. There's also a teaching from the Buddha about anger and the pain that we feel ourselves when we are angry. Right? Pema Chodron languages it as it's like picking up a hot coal and throwing it at someone. You're sure to get burned. You may miss them, but you know. And I forget, obviously, I'm human. And it's so true. It's just so true. And yeah, with the big ice scare last Thursday and the increase in opportunities to show up for all of us, ourselves included, I was remembering really strongly in my body. I went to Washington, D.C. for the Women's March on Washington when the person who's renovating the White House first was being inaugurated. And I was there and I was talking to my husband, who was a part of the Sangha at those days. And they had met, they had gathered, and I was like, rah, 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 rah. I was like, I feel so awful. Like I had a couple days before the march. I feel so awful. And someone had brought to Sangha the question, what are you for? And it's just my body was like, oh, what am I for? And at that moment, it was like, I'm for reproductive rights. I'm for treating people decently. Like, there's so much that I'm for. And when my attention is there and I act from that place, it's just so much more nourishing. And maybe my wholesome actions have the intended consequences, and maybe they don't reach anyone. But because I'm having an intention for a wholesome action, there's a positive impact that's happening. So I offer that for any ways that it might be helpful as you're out engaging with the world. All right, let's do some merit action. So with this first bell, preparing your body to stand. I'm going to backtrack for just a second. Wanted to thank everyone for being here. You being here is what allows the Sangha to happen, and all of the different ways that you contribute. Your presence is the greatest gift. This bell to stand. And then we can bow to one another, including our Zoom land and our physical space, thanking and appreciating each other for being here. The Sangha makes the Sangha. And then spinning it out 180. Repeating after me. And before the words come, calling to mind anyone with whom you'd like to share the merit of our practice. Roberto Montoya Valdez. Julie, you want to open your mic?
I'd like to share the merit of this practice with my beloved wicked stepmother, Joan, who passed at 94 the week before last. And she was an amazing, amazing person. And we're enriched by her presence.
May the fruits of our practice benefit all beings and bring peace and liberation to all. If you have time to help restore the space, that's quite welcome. Ciao, ciao.